On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, Monster Mommy makes an earworm.
Where is our invite to the werewolf dance party?
And booby birds. Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And this week we're talking Season 6, Episode 16, And Then There Were None.
There were none.
Boom, boom, boom.
There were none who wanted to watch this episode again. And then remained to.
It's your favorite.
Yeah, my favorite.
That was last week.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I think, I just address. So top news of the world is that the Winchesters were canceled. So
yeah.
They're
shopping it.
They're shopping it, but they need the fandom to come together. So, be tweeting your hashtag Save the Winchesters on all your social media platforms, whatever you choose to use.
For sure.
For sure. Oh my God.
So
that reminds me. Did you watch the Muppets yet?
I watched the first episode and loved it.
So
what's it called? Mayhem, right?
It's Muppets Mayhem, and it is about
Dr. Teeth and the Electric
Mayhem. So it's all about the band. And shockingly, yes. I don't care to spoil this, but there's really not any other Muppet characters, right? There's a few things, but it's really just the band. And they took the bold move of giving them legs.
Yeah. They have legs. They dance and do things from their legs.
It's an amazing puppet work, but it creeps me out. I don't know. I think I preferred it when they were just the torso puppets.
Waist up.
Yeah.
No, it's super enjoyable. I'm very excited to see what happens. We just only watched the first episode, and the cameos are insane. So
the cameos
if you are a Muppet fan,
nuts. I don't understand. It's
so good. But everybody loves the goddamn Muppets. How do you do? I mean, what the fuck?
I'm pretty sure they just go, "Do you want to be in the Muppets?" And they're like, "Duh." And that's everybody's response.
Who says no?
Right? What kind of monster would say no?
Yeah, no, the first episode, we're hooked. Babe and I watched it, I think last night. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, last night or the day before, and really, really, really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to have a new show to watch. It's on Disney streaming if you have that. And yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's super fun so far.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. That was, kind of the highlight of my weekend.
It was a nice break from my marathoning of Married at First Sight from last year, which is what I've been binging lately.
No, you poor thing.
Quality trash television.
Yeah,
Yay.
I mean, the writers, as of this recording, the writer's strike is still going on.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gets resolved soon. Pay them what you owe them, and also, fuck AI. So, I mean, that's...
I agree with that part. Fuck AI.
So hopefully, things go the way they should, and that, because we didn't get to see Pete Davidson in Saturday Night Live. I wanted, so that'll never happen.
Yeah.
But first, it took me a while to figure out what the fuck was going on. I felt like such an idiot. It was what the hell? Wasn't Pete? I was was Pete Davidson? Did he fuck up? That was my first thought. That Pete Davidson fucked up.
Got in trouble.
Got too drunk to do it, or something. Something happened, and they couldn't show it.
Was he fucking some new girlfriend
or something? I don't know. And then I was like, oh, writer's strike. So there's no new that. There's new there's just no new television, and I'm.
Unless it's already been shot, which it looks like I'm
already running out of things.
Well, What We Do in Shadows comes back in July, I think. June or July, and it looks like that's already. I saw a promo for it the other day, so that's good news.
The promos are out. Oh my God! I
saw me. I don't know if it's a. I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was a video. It was just a picture, but yeah.
Okay, no, I'm immediately going to go search for new trailers.
And then, yeah, I don't know. That's all I got.
I'm very excited. This weekend is the Psychic Fair in San Antonio, and that will be at the Black Swan Inn Friday and Saturday night. Well, it's Saturday, and then Friday if you have VIP, because
course you do.
But with the VIP, well, the reason I have it, I've had these tickets for a while, is because I saw the Austin Seance was going to be there, and they're doing a psychic investigation on Friday. So that you get that with the VIP tickets, and it's not that much. So you basically get an extra day like at the end, and I'm pretty excited to see this place. Like, so
I liked their packing list, which included bug spray and whatever investigative equipment you could bring. So don't forget your bug spray or your EMF reader.
Right. So your DEET and your EMF. So just So I can't wait. That's Friday, and then Saturday there are going to be a whole bunch of lectures and things, like people like Austin Sayas and Mama Moon, and like I can't wait. I don't think is her name Mama Moon. I don't know. There's a bunch of psychics who are going to be there, and there's going to be a fair, and also I love the fact that Saturday doesn't start until like 4, and then it ends at like 11.
So you can go do stuff during the day,
or
like
we're just witches don't want to get up before. Early, like, oh, we are creatures of the night. That's what I think.
Creatures of the night.
Creatures of the night. I also got very excited looking at their event calendar. There is like a masquerade there. There's like all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm pretty excited to check this place out. So
yeah,
that's this weekend in San Antonio. You also got to do something really fun last week.
I did. We went to I did a couple of things I think were real fun. So Babe and I went to the Dolly Parton All Access pop-up shop in Frisco because the Academy of Country Music Awards were in Frisco, Texas, last Thursday, and with that was Dolly Parton. Yeah, they went through. That was Thursday night. They occurred, and then that was Thursday night, and then with Garth Brooks and Dolly Parton hosting. So Dolly Parton, for the first time ever, from my understanding, set up a pop-up shop in one of the storefronts, and it was only open from like Tuesday or Wednesday through Sunday. And it was really in heavy promo of her new Rockstar album. But they had, a bunch of her dresses from different eras on display. They had a full-on eye patch. Yeah.
What is the eye patch from?
It's from the Rockstar promo. She's done some of the promo videos.
So in some of her videos, she just has an eye patch?
What? I don't know if it's video, promo photos for the Rockstar album. She's wearing a black eye patch in some of them that's shaped like a star.
I mean, and it's bitching that she can do whatever the fuck she wants. But it's just like, I didn't know that I could just use an eye patch as an accessory whenever I wanted to.
It seems like it'd be really annoying. You have to work on your like depth perception,
right? But then you only have to do makeup on one eye.
Oh, that's true. And you have to make a match. But they had like a full-on
that's
car.
How you end
70s
up with like
Cadillac.
Wings that are this big.
Yeah, they keep adding to balance.
Oh, God damn it.
Next time, just put on a goddamn eye patch. You're set. But no, they had really good photo ops. They would take the pictures for you and send them to you in a couple different sets. And then, like I said, they had a full-on car that she did to match the car that's in some of the photo shoots. A bunch of shirts. They had a whole bunch of her baking line. Some stuff I'd never seen before. I'd only seen the coconut cake and the banana cake and the cream frosting. Mm-hmm. They also had chocolate frosting. They had turtle brownie, biscuits, and cornbread. I just couldn't bring but everything was $10. So I'm just going to say, first off, when they actually, the cooking stuff. Now, when they actually have it at the grocery store, they're usually about $3.50 to $4, right? Yeah, but some of them I hadn't seen before, so I had to buy a bunch. But I refused to buy cornbread mix on principle because cornbread mix should not cost more than $2, in my opinion. So I refused on that one.
Okay, good.
But
I'm glad you stood your ground on the cornbread.
Yeah, but I got a lot of other goodies, and for myself and for others, and so things are stashed and situated. We did that, and then the next day I got to go to Medieval Times for my niece's birthday because it was Addison who's done some of our voice work on the show before. You may have heard her. It's her birthday today that we're recording, and so she wanted to go to Medieval Times for her birthday, so that's what we did. And I blew my voice out booing like I do every time.
At least you really got into it.
I do every time.
Did one of your group win the favor?
No. Well, no. I mean, of course, Addison got a flower because duh, but she didn't win the favor. So, but yeah, no. So we did that, and then did some family time to celebrate Mother's Day and have cupcakes on Sunday. And I went and saw a show on Saturday night. I went and saw Neva de Nova. Nebraska indie rock bands, along with Cursive, who they were actually excellent. It wasn't a band I got into when they were very popular. I mean, they're still popular, but like in their heyday, if you will, they were actually a really freaking good band.
Cool.
And yeah, looking forward to some more shows this weekend because that's what I'm doing now. Apparently, going Longhorn Ballroom is happening on Friday night. It is a free event unless you wait if with an RSVP, or it's $10 day of, and it's a R&B review with a bunch of local artists, and people can come check out the venue. So it's pretty cool to share that with the world.
Neat.
That's what I've got going on. That's my plugs.
Yep. Diana has a life. We know. We understand. Yes, you're cool.
Yeah.
Some of us just sit home and watch the Muppets. Anyhow, and that's how we get to finish the Muppets, because we're not off seeing rock bands. I got to see the whole goddamn series because I just sat in my couch and watched it. So, take that, Miss. I got to see that. Anyhow, you ready to talk about this fucking episode?
Sure. You want to get it over with? I know you don't like it.
I don't like it for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's just a bummer. It's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
It's a bummer episode.
There's some really good lines in it.
It's very well written. It's just depressing. Everybody's angry, and it's not a feel good. It's just not. And it was called, and then there were none, and there's this whole thing. I forgot to copy it down. Whatever, go look it up. It's based on a thing. All right. This was directed by Mike.
Based on a thing.
It's based on a thing, and it has people being. That's right, Anya. My cat just spoke up, and she was like, it has to do with the people who got sent to an island because they did something bad, and then So this was directed by Mike Roll, who last did Appointment in Samara, and written by Brett Matthews, who last wrote Live Free or Try Hard. So just solid director, solid writer.
I can see that.
So we start off with a truck stop and I just wanted to use this word, a lot lizard.
Yeah, we got a guy driving a big rig, gassing up, and our character Eve, aka Mother, that we met at the end a couple episodes ago.
Mother
shows up and surprises
have Dave
him.
Make that for us, and then just insert that in random times every time we say it. We can't do it every time we say Eve, but occasionally.
That'd be a lot.
It'd be a lot, but just every once in a while, just a good Mother.
Yeah, she just kind of appears behind him though, and it's real freaky, and asks him for a ride. And introduced herself as Eve. His name is Rick, and
she ain't got no shoes on.
No, she's just in a nightie, rolling around.
She's in this dress, which is
she is in the dress that you're wearing.
I put on an Eve dress just for this episode.
Yeah, and so he's like, "Where are you going? Or how far are you going?" And she's like, "As far as you want to go."
And he's like, "Okay," because I didn't think anything wrong or awkward was going to happen when I put this underage girl in my pickup truck. Not my pickup truck, but in my giant truck. No, that seemed fine.
Yeah, and then she tries to make out with him, and he is not into it, and hands her a religious pamphlet saying that she could do better. That's not right. It's not the right thing for her to do. She tells him that Jesus was just a man and God doesn't care about you. He abandoned you. The apocalypse already came and went and you didn't even notice. But a mother wouldn't abandon you like God did.
Yeah, and my notes are different than yours. Mine say, have some Jesus. He can fill your holes. That's not what your notes say?
No, not what my notes say.
No.
So, but then she wants to tell him a secret. And so she's going to whisper to him.
Or she just sticks her tongue in his ear. That's what I thought happened. I'm like, oh, she's just wet willying him. And this is also just an episode of Wet Willies, by the way. And it's just gross. It's just, this is what don't put things in my ear. Don't fucking do it. Don't put your finger in there. Don't put your tongue in there. Just don't. No.
Don't touch the inside your ears. Okay, noted. Do you like Qtips?
Yes. But I'm controlling them.
I know. I'm just inquiring if it's a across the board rule, for everybody, including yourself, or it's just you can touch your own ears, but not.
It's also just coming from asshole families where people like to stick. You never know, and also just bugs. Yeah, when we get to the con room thing, that's been a phobia ever since that movie came out. All right.
All right. So something goes in his ear and he's yelling and it's not good. So we cut to a woman sleeping in bed, and good old Rick walks in to this bedroom, pulls a hammer out, and as she's screaming, he bashes her head in with the hammer.
I think it's because her nightgown, like, while it was kind of white, like, it wasn't totally white. There were some, like, purple flowers on it, and for that, you must die by hammer, according to the rules of Supernatural.
Is that what it is? That nightie is too fucking ugly. You must die. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, and we get some good blood splatter. So, all right. Well, we cut to Bobby, Sam, and Dean researching at Bobby's. We see a headline that says "More Mutilated Bodies" on the headline of the newspaper laying there. And they are circling sites on a map, trying to figure out what's going on. Because Bobby is finding reports and getting reports from a bunch of hunters. Some of our favorite things. A nest of vamps, a werewolf dance party. Yes.
Oh!
And shifters with 6 of them, 2 hunters dead, ghouls, and ghoul wraith smorgasbord.
Ghoul? But yes.
Ghouls. I thought he was going to go ghouls, and I was very disappointed he didn't.
Well, but it was also kind of almost better, right? Because like ghouls, ghoul, wraith smorgasbord. Like it kind of like it throws you. But werewolf dance party. Where are these? Can I go? There is like, I know I've told Diana before, but like, oh, I must find this. There is a bar in between San Marcos and like Luling or Locker. I don't know. Like, and it's called like Howl at the Moon. And I'm pretty sure that's where like werewolves go.
Well, we need to go there.
I do think, but I'm not going there by myself.
No, that's why I said we need to. You should not go by yourself.
But we'll have to go on a full moon and make sure we can see the werewolf dance party.
So they've been circling where all these things happen. It's making a line down Highway 80, basically. And Dean calls it the Sherman March Monster Mash.
And then I started thinking about, like, monster mashing, like, in, like, military marches, right? And it was, like, so it's like a tattoo, right? But, like, so there's bands, and there's just monsters, and they're, like, just, like, dancing as they're, like, walking. So it's just a parade. It's a monster parade, and I want it to happen.
Oh my gosh. So now they're trying to figure out where this path is going, and it seems to lead to Sandusky, which is where where Rick had just bashed in his wife's head. And apparently his family's heads. So.
And I stopped calling him Rick. I just started calling him Hammerhead.
Oh, okay. Well, Sam and Dean are interviewing him in jail, and he's just like, look, I blacked out. You know, I remember, you know, I was doing my route, and then I woke up in my truck at work. Don't remember how I got there. So I called home and there was no answer. So he went to his house and found his family dead. And surprise, Bobby's actually with Sam and Dean doing this interrogation. What? That doesn't happen.
So all 3 of them are pretending to be federal agents and just talked themselves into an interview room with a man who just killed his family with the hammer. They just let random people in off the street interview the guy with the hammer. Oh.
Well, and it gets worse. I mean, obviously this guy's very upset. He loved his family and doesn't remember doing this, and he's crying. He just remembers some kid that had asked for a ride. Some young girl. And then they, you know, not only does this, you know, police department allow these randos to just like come interview a murder suspect, they also let them use their computers to review surveillance footage
that they've already gotten. Somehow, wait, no, they couldn't have, because I don't think the police even know about this. So basically, then I think they have hacked into the surveillance cameras for the truck stop, because that is the only reason like they could have been seeing this. Okay, so that is what they've done. And then Dean starts perving on her. And so I kind of think that face that she gives you, that's what you deserve. Like she
gives a real scary face.
I kind of like her scary face too. And it's just like, fuck you. I'm not here to be your object, Dean. Human being.
Well, but before that, they're realizing, they're like, is first they're like, is this a demon possession or ghost? We thought this was a monster thing, but it's not. They see, of course, Eve's face, and she is, as I wrote, scary monster demony.
Okay. I think she kind of looks like the Scream, like, a little bit.
A
It's just
little
like
bit.
this
Yeah.
kind of just looks like you took her head and just went and just kind of like
I thought it was a little bit.
oh,
ring,
so kind of
which I
like,
didn't like.
you kind of like the ring, but also kind of like in Beetlejuice when they stretch their face out, like if you just did that and then put like
that's cute though.
Yeah.
Well, they're making references to.
Cute.
No, they're making. They don't know what it is, but they're talking about monsters coming in for Mother's Day, which is interesting because we just passed Mother's Day. Good timing.
It's a very timely episode. So,
and if they're like, but if that is Big Mama, we don't know how to gank her.
Oh, Big Mama, Big Mama's coming.
But so they got to find some info on her.
That makes me think like she's a chunky cat, and there's just this like Big Mama's coming.
Well, then the cops get a call and they start running out because a guy went, quote, postal, which that's so weird that that's still a thing term. Anyway, well, I guess it's not now. It is now. I've heard people say it. Weird.
No, but also like at this point, this was, when people weren't just committing mass murders like every day.
Oh.
It was a different time,
so,
the early 2000s, early teens.
Bobby's going to go, well,
2011.
Bobby's going to go find out what happened at the cannery where this next incident occurred.
Well, I don't know why that word makes me laugh. It just does. Cannery.
And then the brothers are going to stay behind to try to figure out what other research they can pull together. So, and we see Eve leaving the truck, by the way, in the background on this surveillance footage. So she did not hang around long with Rick.
Nope, just stuck her tongue in his ear and fucked off.
And bounced. So Bobby's at the crime scene at the cannery, and there's bodies being wheeled out. He flashes his FBI badge, and one of the cops just starts chatting away. Yeah, we got 6 dead. Guy inside pulled a hunting rifle. And then the sheriff walks out, and he makes a comment about how many feds are there. Is it a Fed convention? Because who's behind him but Rufus, also pretending to be with the FBI.
Also, he pretends to be an FBI agent the same way Bobby does, which they put on trench coats. And they both have on trench coats, and it's adorable.
They do. They've got their FBI cosplay on. Rufus walks out and greets Bobby as Agent Willis. And Bobby wants to know what Rufus is doing there, though. He's like, look, the perpetrator got 8 bullets in him, so we're not really going to be able to ask him much. So I guess Rufus asks Bobby if they're going to partner again this time. It's not rocket surgery. We're just like old times. But Bobby wants to drive.
Oh, so cute.
Oh. At the morgue, so Bobby and Rufus go to the morgue and are looking at the perpetrator's body.
Okay, so this guy who just got shot in the cannery, right? He was just killed. He is now half frozen at the morgue. He is already on a slab in the morgue, and they're just going to let these 2 random federal agents into there and give them aprons to work on, and now they're just going to let these randos autopsy their corpse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But Bobby notices there's something black in the guy's ear and gets a swab. And it's this black goo.
And this is the point when Sonic Youth starts going through my head. My friend goo. And that just that gets stuck in there. And it's not ecto. And why are you smelling that, Rufus? Don't do that. Don't smell it. Don't put it near your nose.
How you have to smell it. I'm just kidding. They piece together this might be something new. And both of the guys that have snapped, both Rick and this guy, both worked at the cannery. So it is nighttime, and we've got some classic TV detective style music playing as Rufus and Bobby pull up. And
the soundtrack during this, just the back of the music is great. It's really lovely.
Sets the tone. And Sam and Dean are already there, and Sam and Dean really happy to see Rufus and greet him quite enthusiastically.
Yeah, and it's a very happy reunion, which to me or anybody who ever watches a show should immediately go, danger, 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 red flag, red flag, red flag. Someone is happy to see the Winchesters. Oh no, it's the curse of the Winchesters. It has come.
So they're going to go search the cannery. They're walking around, and as they're getting upstairs, they see Gwen Campbell leaving the break room.
That's random.
And everybody's pointing guns at each other. Because in the background, not only is it Gwen, but fucking Samuel is there.
That is the sound I make when I see Samuel.
And Dean promised to kill him next time he saw him, and so he goes in gun pointed, but
he
Sam
almost
stops
flat
him.
out shoots him. It's very very aggressive, and you're like, oh
He's
shit! You're just going for it.
Yeah, he was just going to shoot his ass, but Sam stops him, and because he doesn't think it's the right time to do this. And Rufus is like, oh, y'all know each other? And Dean's like, yeah, he's our grandfather. And Rufus's response is, oh, somebody needs a hug.
Yeah, I love that line.
So the plan is for them to all stay working, and they're all going to try to solve this case together. And Bobby has Sam remove Dean from the situation before Dean snaps.
Take a walk. Go for a walkie.
So the conversation goes to, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying not yet.
Which is interesting, right? It's like, oh no, you can still kill him, just not right now. And I'm still like, dude, he's still like a human being, and this may be crossing an ethical one. Like, I know, like, is he a human? I don't know. Samuel's humanity.
He's a dick, but that doesn't necessarily mean you don't deserve to live.
Like, I don't know. I don't think you have an actual. That's just murder. But anyway, so then we find out that Bobby and Samuel have not met yet, and you're like, oh shit, like this has to happen, and you're just like popcorn.
Yeah. And so Bobby's like, oh, so you're Samuel. Samuel's like, so you're the guy pretending to be their father.
Ouch. But Bobby's like, oh yeah, bitch. Well, somebody ought to. And then he just says, fuck off, and walks away. He doesn't. But he, like, it's so good. Like, he just like, ugh.
Somebody ought to. And so Sam comes back in, and Sam tells Samuel that, yeah, by the way, I got my soul back. No thanks to you.
This is all very awkward. So awkward.
And this is when Samuel's like, oh, wait,
Can
Sam,
you
don't remember
Gwen
everything,
right now?
do you?
Poor fucking Gwen is just like, probably just what the fuck did I just walk into? Like, why? Like, I should have just like gone to Duncan. I feel like Gwen goes to Duncan. I don't.
Well, Samuel's figured out that Sam does not remember everything that happened when they were together. And Rufus is like, well, what the fuck are you hunting, Samuel? Samuel's like, it's a creature from purgatory. Eve, or Mother is what it's called. Last here 10,000 years ago. And every freak can be traced back to her.
Oh, but I don't like thinking about it in every freak. It was like she is the source of all the monsters. Aww,
Monster mommy.
She's monster mommy. And, I mean, I'm not mad at that. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're like, monsters have to come from somewhere.
Well, and we get Bobby and Samuel kind of have a pissing contest about who knows more about things for a second. And then
there's a lot of dick measuring in this. Maybe that's also why I don't like it. Like, it's a lot of male energy.
Yeah. And Bobby calls Samuel out, though, for throwing his own kin to hungry ghouls. Ghouls. But Samuel's like, no, that's a lie. But Gwen's like, wait, what? So Bobby tells her to go ask Dean herself.
Well, fine, I will. Because I want to get out of this awkward situation. This seems like a great idea. I'll go find Dean.
I'm gonna go ask another awkward question in an abandoned building. Yay! So she goes to ask Dean if it's true. And he's like, yeah. And I can't believe you're still rolling with him. And she's like, look, I didn't know. Dean's like, well, there's something I need to tell you. And that thing he needed to tell her is a fucking bullet because he shoots her.
Yep.
What the fuck?
I hate this episode.
WTF. What the fuck? So Dean just shoots Gwen. And
it's like, Gwen's just gone. Like, now we just have no more Gwen.
She dead. Gwen's dead. That's it.
Curse of the Winchester.
Sam, Bobby, Rufus, and Samuel heard the gunshot and come out. And they find Gwen, and they try to save her, but there's no way. And Dean's gone. So Sam's got to go find him while Rufus is still trying to do CPR unsuccessfully.
She dead, though. She dead. Don't befriend the Winchesters.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Sam comes back, and he can't find Dean.
And, like, he's, whatever got these guys must have gotten Dean as well. So now we know that whatever made Rick kill his family and this other guy shoot up the factory, now it's gotten to Dean. So they've got to find Dean before Dean finds them. And they're like, but Sam just has to make a point that we're going to find him alive. Period. Or put a bullet in Samuel's head,
Yeah.
Because he don't trust Samuel not to kill Dean.
Fair.
So Sam and Bobby are going to go look, and we're searching. They pair up to search, and Rufus and Samuel are putting Gwen's body away, and then they're going to go search too.
No.
And
Sam and Bobby are locking up the place while the other two move the body. And that is because they're like, we're going to go lock down the place. And they put like the world's like flimsiest little padlocks on shit. And I'm like, what? Locking it down for what? Like, are you just like,
they don't want him to get out.
Those locks wouldn't hold like a child in a middle school.
Well, Sam while they're all kind of wandering around, Sam uses his phone to call Dean to make Dean's phone ring so they can find him. So we end up with Rufus going face to face with Dean, guns pointed at each other. And Rufus is telling Dean to put the gun down. But then, of course, Samuel runs in with his gun. And, then Sam and Bobby run in. And Sam's like, look, everybody just put their fucking guns down.
Because this is stupid.
Dean. And Dean's like, I'm not in the mood. I just had a 12-inch heartbeat crawl out of my ear.
No, it's not heartbeat. It's herpy. Because Sam keeps asking him, like, why do you keep talking about herpes, Dean? And so it's a herpy that crawls out of his ear. And then he basically says, it's a worm. And then Samuel tells him, well, you killed Dean. You killed Gwen.
Killed Gwen.
And Dean's like, is like a con worm on steroids. Okay, so con worms, if you don't know, that's a thing from The Wrath of Khan. It's a Star Trek thing. And in that movie, there's fucking bugs that crawl in your goddamn ear. And those are not okay. They're gross. But still, we're going to talk about another worm. Because it's time for lore. Mini.
Lore.
All right. We're going to talk about the world's most metal cryptid. A.K.A. the Mongolian Deathworm. That's just metal, right?
That should be a band name.
I'm sure it is. Like, there's a reason I don't know. All right. So it's said to be a sandworm, right? So it's dark red in color and it's got spikes on like both ends. So, but really, if you think about like a sandworm, like the sandworm in Beetlejuice that Barbara rides, it's like a sandworm. I'm like, all right, cool. And it's got spikes on both of its ends, right? And it spits venom. And the venom will corrode metal and also send electric shocks. And like, it's so shocking that if you're a person and you're like, and you get hit with the venom, like, and you die. Weird, right? And the sandworm is shockingly, see what I did there, thought to live in the sand. What? And but particularly in the Gobi Desert. So Mongolia's nomadic tribes called it the word I can't pronounce, but it translates to roughly intestine worms because they thought that it looked like cow guts. And so intestine worm can grow up to like 5 feet in length, right? But nobody's ever seen it, or like, well, they say like they all like know what it looks like, but nobody's ever actually seen it. A lot of people have tried to find it. There's been a lot of TV shows, a lot of like Western like wannabe Indiana Jones dudes who are like, I'm going to go find the thing and but nobody ever finds it. But at this point, like a lot of people think that it was something real that's misidentified, right? Like, I saw something and it looked like it was something else. And so then in the research, that's when they start saying all the real things that it could be. And there's like a lot of videos of like sand snakes and spiders and centipedes. And no, I stopped researching at that point because I got freaked out. Because I don't surprise snakes. No. Surprise worms. No. I mean, I don't. You be brightly colored and make a lot of noise, and then you're fine. Like, can worms why don't worms talk? No, they're just snakes. You know that. Like, well, no, we like talk, but like they don't like
communicate.
They don't make sounds, right? Like like a cat, like meow, dog, woof, like snake. Besides like
horse.
See, you don't trust them. I don't understand. So there'll be another mini lore later to make it for this, but that's it.
Woo! All right.
But still, Mongolian Deathworm.
So Dean just woke up on the ground with this worm thing coming out of his ear, and he's very upset about it and went to the vent. So Samuel's like, well, could it still be in there? We can't trust him. And they check and make sure he's got goo in his ear, which means that it came up. So they all give up their guns at Bobby's insistence.
So this is where they're wet-willying each other. They're just like, well, I gotta see. Like, so Rufus just like basically like and just like shoves his finger in Dean's ear to find out that he's goo. Yes, like, yep, you're goo positive.
That's true. It's gross. But so Bobby's like, look, everybody's got to give up their guns because we don't know who might get this, and we don't want to. It's just gonna make it harder to. We don't want another Gwen. We saw what just happened. Gwen just got shot for no fucking reason. So hesitantly, they all comply and they lock him up in one of the lockers right next to an I Heart Polka sticker, which I was very amused by. And Bobby's like, all right, we need to make a plan. So let's make a bunch of Rufus and Bobby are going to call all the hunters they know to try to figure out if they know anything about this. And this must go all night into the morning. And this must be over a weekend because there's no one coming to work in the morning. Like, what the fuck is going on? Or is the place closed because of the shooting? I don't know.
I mean, like, a bunch of people did just die there, like, by hammer. So maybe, like... But,
they might have given him a day off.
Honestly, it's capitalism. And I don't think it'd be shut down for that long. Like...
At least a day or two,
like a day or two. I mean, but his body's already, like, being autopsied.
Yeah. So God knows how long it's been. So, yeah. Samuel and Dean keep getting into a staring contest.
There's a lot of tense staring, just like between everybody.
Yeah. So Samuel gets up to leave the room, and they all try to block, or Sam tries to block him. He's like, I need to go to the bathroom. And so they let him leave, and then of course Sam and Dean follow because nobody trusts Samuel, obviously.
I mean, nobody does, but I'm thinking about this, like, when you've got I don't know who is possessed. I would never leave somebody alone with another person. Like, because they just, like, said, like, we know.
Everybody
like,
should have gone as a group together. Yeah,
sorry. All, have, at this point,
have a potty party.
Yeah, you don't, like, you can't split up at this point. I don't think so. Because someone's going to die. This is how someone dies.
Absolutely. So it makes no sense. But whatever. That's what they do. And then Bobby and Rufus are just having no fucking luck. I like that they have some funny conversations naming off some of the hunters that they've tried to reach out to. But that don't like them anymore. So they're like, look, Bobby's like, maybe we just go get it, guns, just go in, guns blazing, and fucking kill this thing. Let's find it and kill it. Fuck it. But Rufus replies like Omaha, and apparently this is a real low blow, and Bobby is pissed that Rufus brought up Omaha.
Well, also, you know what? I'm fucking pissed that Rufus brought up Omaha. Because what the fuck is Omaha?
I know.
Fuck you.
We don't know what the fuck Omaha is.
It's annoying. What? It's so fucking annoying.
So
because you don't tell me what the fuck Omaha is.
So Sam and Dean find Samuel and they corner him. And they're like, how do you sleep at night?
Which
you
is also
fed us
really
to Crowley.
Weird. Like, why did you, like, okay, did you just, like, you couldn't
like,
stop
why is
anymore?
Now the moment to do this?
Like,
I don't know. It's so weird.
That's weird.
And Samuel's like, yeah, it's true. But what am I going to do about it now? What the fuck? Okay. And he's like, I don't blame you for wanting to kill me. I'm not going to apologize because I don't cry over spilled blood.
What?
And then Diana rolled her eyes because this is fucking dumb.
Yep. But that's spilled blood. Oh, God.
So stupid. Sam's like, so you can just go on? And he's like, yeah, but Samuel kind of calls out Sam here. He's like, just because you're Dr. Jekyll at the moment, you can't get all high and mighty here. I spent a year with you. I know the fucked up shit you've done. And
I know how dirty
like,
your dick is. Like,
Sam's like, yeah, but we're
dick in everything, Sam. You don't even.
And Sam's like, yeah, but we're still blood, and you still sold us out, though. And Samuel's like, that pales in comparison to what you've done on more than one occasion.
Yeah. Do we need to talk about like the 7 women that you banged in one town?
Yeah. But Dean stops them here because he doesn't want Sam to go down the rabbit hole of remembering things because he doesn't want to tear down the wall, yada, yada. So he's like, look, the minute we kill this thing, you're next, is what he tells
Why?
Samuel.
Why are you even saying this?
It's just a shitty revenge killing. It's not even like,
or
like
just
I said, it's
kill
not
him
self-defense.
now.
It's not.
Why do you have to, like, why do you need him to hunt it? Like.
And then so they just stare at each other some more real aggressively.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then right as Samuel turns, we see a little hint of black goo in his ear. And he tries to pull his gun, but Dean blocks him and Samuel runs away. Oh no. And Rufus and Bobby come out and they decide they're gonna need the guns back.
Yeah, I do like Rufus just being like, I'm gonna be needing my gun back now, and Bobby's like, yep, that was dumb. Yep, should have kept those.
Yeah.
And they finally learned, and they do decide to stick together. So that's kind of smart.
They're gonna go as a group. Sam stops Dean though, and they all kind of freak out because Sam grabs Dean to stop him from walking because Sam saw a tripwire.
And it's a booby trap. And now it's time for your other mini lore. Why? Because boobies! Really, because booby trap makes me laugh. Sadly, no, booby traps are not about chesticles. Booby though comes from they believe from the word bobo, which is Spanish for stupid or fool, and in Latin babulus means stammering, which Romans used to associate with low intelligence. Booby likely became a word for a dunce maybe as early as 1599. There is also, like, I don't know, there's a bunch of theories, and I just didn't care enough to look that deep into it. All right, so it could have come to mean a dunce as early as 1599, or there's a theory that in the 17th century, sailors used traps to catch the booby bird, aka, like, there's a bird that was named that because it's a little dumb, and I'm kind of like, oh, you poor little booby bird.
Cute little bird.
And there's a lot of, like, booby birds. I think like me, people just like saying the word booby. So maybe the use of the term booby trap showed up around 1850s to mean practical jokes, right? But so like at first it was just like, ha booby trap, and then it became like, oh no, booby trap. And so we're going to talk about just a few of the more interesting booby traps that the Vietcong used, because that seems to be the one that people talk about the most. So, like, one, if you research booby traps and you just go into the search engine of your choice, I would never, say you go to an evil. I use Google as a verb. That's not the search engine that I use. I do want to make that true. Just people know that. So if you go in there and you type booby and finish it with trap, and don't just stop with booby, I know it's tempting, but you got to put the rest of that in there.
Put the rest of it in. Very different search results.
And that's a safe search versus unsafe search. There's all different ways that you could go, but keep going, and put trap in. Okay. There are a lot of articles just about dumb preppers building booby traps for the enemies in their house.
Okay.
They're like, these are all the traps that you can put in your bunker, and like, for the people who are coming to get you.
Bunker booby traps?
So it's like bunker booby traps, and just like for like when shit hits the fan, these are the booby traps. It's just like, it's so ridiculous. It's so dumb. But then like I was looking for more like funny booby traps, but like more like they just talk about like, oh, like did the Egyptians have booby traps? Like in this temple in Mexico where this queen was covered in like red dye, was that a booby trap, or did she just want to be covered in red dye?
Probably wants to be covered in red dye.
She just thought being red was cool. Probably.
Kevin McAllister was a master.
He was a master. But so if they mainly talk about ones that are in war, so we're going to talk about mainly Vietcong, just because they were some of the most elaborate and just holy shit type things. And so they do think, like, I saw varying numbers, but like probably around 11% of U.S. casualties during the Vietnam War came because of booby traps. So that's a lot of shit to think about. So here's a couple of the things that they would do. So one, these are called the punji sticks, right? And a lot of times these would either be in tunnels or just like in the jungle itself. And so, that is where you would have like a camouflage pit, and then like you would fall on that, and there would be sharpened sticks that are just sticking out of the ground. And they would generally be bamboo, sometimes metal, and they were coated with things that would just aim to get you infected. Right. So it's like,
didn't they do that in the Hunger Games too?
Yeah, kind of like Hunger Games probably got it from. I think the Vietcong did it first, but yeah, just but yeah, but it's like so like, and by things I mean like coated in like feces and stuff too. But also like, can you imagine being like the soldier whose job it was? All right, you gotta take a shit and then like rub your shit on that stick. All right, that'll take out the Yankee or whatever, I forget what they call this, but it was like that's
because even if they're unimpaled, they will have an infection and die.
Well, yeah, like, and they had some other ways, like they would like put the sticks in like a different like downwards, so like you couldn't like get them out. Also, and I think this is like like these are really smart. So they would have like if you had like a pit that you fell into, well, they would dig a pit next to it. So when you're like, "Hey, I need help," and your friend came running, then your friend would fall in the pit. Then you're both in pits. You're next to each other. That's just awful, right? So I'm not meaning to make light of this stuff, but yeah.
No, but yeah, it's clever.
So I'm in my mind, they're all cartoons, all right? We're just not living in real land. All right. So if it was cartoon violence, it's fine. All right. So grenades. All right. So like, there's one where you just like basically you just put like a grenade on the ground and just tie a string to the pin. So and then you put a chip wire on the pin, and then if you trip, then you just pull the grenade, and then woof. Boom, Boom. Or you could already you could pull the pin out and then just put it in a grenade. Like these are the grenades that have the levers on them. The ones you can like picture with your hand that you squeeze. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that lever would be pushed down inside the can, and so and then the tripwire would be tied around the grenade. So then when you tripped, the grenade would come flying out of the can, and then boom.
Boom. Yeah, because it's not being held closed anymore.
Yeah. All right. These are called cartridge traps or toe poppers, and this is bonkers, but so all right. I'm just gonna say, so there's like a tube, right? And in the tube there's a bullet and it's on top of a nail. And so the bullet's kind of like you put that in the ground, so the bullet's kind of like sticking out of the ground. So then like when you step on the bullet goes into the nail and then that pops off the cartridge and then like boom.
That is brilliant and awful all
right?
At once.
I was just like it's so smart and so simple. Like,
because also if you've immobilized somebody,
and right, and so the idea then really is you're not like aiming to kill them, you're trying to immobilize them and freak them the fuck out, and you're wounding them.
Yeah, it's scary.
And then you can ambush them, right? Okay, so this one, snake pits, and this is about real snakes and gross. I don't want to talk about it. But
Indiana Jones shit right there.
Yeah, but you think about it's what it sounds like. However, like the snakes they used were called like 3-step snakes because that's how like 1, 2, 3 steps you die, right? But sometimes, and I don't know if this is true because this does sound some like cartoon fucking bullshit. They said that they tied snakes to branches by their tails at like face height. So then like, you walk by this like bam, like get like bit in the face by a snake. But like, are you just like how do you keep from being bitten by the snake? Like while you're tying it up, like, are you tying the tail? Like you tying in a knot?
Throw it over real fast and run away.
How the fuck do you do it? Whose job? So like, is it the poor guy who had the shitty spike job? Like now they're like, okay, we want you to go find this venomous snake.
Now that you pooped on the stick, please go catch some poisonous snakes
and tie it on a tree.
That does sound cartoony, but I'm sure they figured it out. Maybe they
got
them. Don't if you get a snake real cold, don't they like kind of go unconscious?
Oh, but how do you get cold in Vietnam? Like I don't think they had ice. I'm pretty sure the Vietcong did not. Like of the amenities they had, I don't see the Vietcong having ice. I don't know why. Maybe they did. I don't know.
It wasn't their priority.
Yeah. So a lot of this has to do with it is something I hadn't really like thought about because I don't really read that much about the Vietnam War. I don't like it. And so, I don't read about things I don't like. Like, I want to read about fun stuff. But there is a giant tunnel system in Vietnam that were being leveraged by the Vietcong and also by other people during this, right? So there were soldiers from the American, Australian, and other sides that were basically their job was to go through these tunnels and basically you're trying to get intel and like not die, right? Like you're trying to because there was like they would have like they're fucking like plays and shit down these tunnels. Like that's where they would have like their political plays that they couldn't have like above ground because they were illegal. Like so, but like that's how elaborate these tunnels were. But because a lot of these booby traps, that's where they were. They were in the tunnels. So snakes were in the fucking tunnels. No. That's why I stopped reading about that one. All right, spike balls and maces. So this is like a giant concrete ball. And so you get like a giant ball, right? Ball. And then you wrap it like in shit, right? And then you basically attach huge spikes to it. So it looks like a giant mace, right? That's why it's called like a mace, right? And then you basically attach that to like a tree or something. This is so cartoony. And then like someone hits on the tripwire and then like boom. And then like you come down and you get hit with a giant fucking mace.
That's insane. That is very cartoony.
The Acme. Pictures of them are
giant mace created by Acme.
It's horrifying. Like it's horrifyingly like that this was real, but it's so cartoony because you can't imagine like, and the pictures of like what? Oh my, they were gigantic,
damage,
so huge. I can't imagine like walking through. Oh man. All right, so scorpions. All right, so. Well, especially like if you're in the tunnels, they would take boxes of scorpions in there. And so like basically like there would be like a tripwire like on a stick or something. And then like you would walk past and the stick would fall, and the box of scorpions would open, and then you would have scorpions all over you.
No, thank you.
No. Again, cartoony. That was real. Okay, the last one that I'm going to talk about for the Vietcong, flags. So okay, it's a thing, and maybe you've heard of this, that when you like capture like something of an enemy, that you take their flag, right?
Yeah.
So if there was a village that had been captured by the Vietcong, and they got like one by whoever was coming in to take this village away from them, they would leave like a grenade attached to the rope of the flag. So as soon as somebody tried to like lower the mic, but as soon as somebody tried to lower the flag, a grenade would fucking go off. And if that didn't work, they would put a mine at the base of the pole.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Because like capture the flag, like that's like a game. Like,
it's also just it's a thing, right?
Well, like, it's also used in war games. It's like that's how you've like.
Well, and like hello,
we got their flag. We used our tactics. That's our symbol.
This is our symbol.
Yeah, that's our symbol. Yeah.
So
damn.
Yeah. All right. So that's the Vietcong, and I just want to talk about two things that the Nazis did. So I'm talking about U.S. enemies in this episode. I don't know why, but it's just, booby traps. Yeah. I guess it's just, I know, like, I want to see what were the American booby traps? Because, like, I know we had to do some too, right? Okay. Yeah. So and this is the same kind of idea with the flag thing, right? So when the Allied troops are coming in, like, into occupied Nazi, like villages that have been occupied by Nazis or, those forces. So they would just, like, hide explosives under like everything, under like helmets, rifles, lamps, cracked magazine, called them just like a bunch of homicidal squirrels, just like hiding shit everywhere. So like again, cartoony shit, right? Like so
if you pick anything up off the ground, shit gonna blow.
Yeah, it's like don't pick up that helmet, and like there was a rifle like leaning against a tree, like, and then you would pick the rifle up, and then it would explode. Damn. Yeah, so bad in 1940, 3 German spies landed on the coast of Ireland, and they had 4 explosive cans of peas that they were going to sneak into Buckingham Palace. But they asked for where the IRA was, and instead of being taken to the IRA, they were taken to the police station. But whatever, they still like had explosive cans of peas.
Explosive peas.
Can you imagine this mission? All right, like, oh man, it's like in the German too, just like yelling at you, just like, this is like what we're gonna do, and you're gonna land in England with your can of peas.
A can of peas.
And you're gonna go blow up the queen or the
with
king.
Cans of
It
peas.
was in World War II. I don't remember. I think it was a king, but whatever. Fucking. Anyways, okay. And the last one that I just think it's terrible. I'm not saying it's because it's a Nazi thing, so it's terrible, but. All right, it's just called the crooked picture bomb. So basically, like, they would put in, like, a hallway, like, where painting is. They would just go and hollow out the wall behind it and put, a bomb in it. And then hang the picture, but hang it crooked. And so when somebody who was anal walked by and straightened the picture, it would blow up.
That's like the meanest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, so for anal retentive, I'm kind of looking at you. For anal retentive people who can't just let the picture hang crooked,
I'd be dead.
You'd be dead.
I'd be dead.
See, I think the theme of this is if you're just lazy, you're going to be much better off. Like, if I'm not climbing in any
No.
tunnels, no fucking
No, I don't like
spiders or
tunnels. I don't like
snakes are
tunnels.
climbing, following me.
Mm-mm.
Like, no, thank you.
No
I also,
tunnels
like,
for
I
me.
have tits. I can't tunnel crawl. Like, I
get the concept of tunnels actually makes me like super claustrophobic, and I'm not a claustrophobic person, so it's kind of like generally speaking, but like underground stuff like freaks me out a
like,
little bit.
I don't know. I can handle. I can't handle tight. I can't handle tight spaces.
Yeah, you can.
But like, I would never do, like, every time I watch on any like of the adventure shows, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna like go into like, and they just like crawl through like holes and like, and like they vary in size. I don't like the idea
so
that I could
anxiety.
not get through, like, is terrifying.
Right, like if you could potentially get stuck at one point in or out, oh my god, that's why I'm like, I can't do like I can go to like a large cavern, but I'm not gonna like go like where you have to. Like,
I love the cave, but I'm just I like and
the little tight tunnels.
It's just also really hard to like. It's not easy for me to belly crawl with giant boobs. It's just not. They get in the fucking way. Like, you have to like basically like be planking your whole way.
Sand.
Yeah, and you can't plank if you're like doing it low. Like, I only know it from Tough Mudder, where I just like I paid to do it, and Diana, I got paid to do it, but
and yelled at a lot though. But like I'm like whatever, the ground crawling under like barbed wire stuff like that. Like, it's not easy. It's extremely exhausting. My problem
with like because when I've done it, it's only been obstacle course races. I've never done it like in a military thing, but also just like as a chick, and just I like to stick my butt up.
No, it's really hard not to.
And so it really is. Like, I just want to stick my butt up, and so
it's just a natural like oof, oof. Keep your tits off the ground and stick your butt up. That's just what we do. But no, you can't do that when you're doing that crawl. I'm sorry.
No. Just dragging your titties through the dirt.
Dragging them titties through the dirt.
And that is our lore.
Oh my gosh. All right.
This episode, dragging your titties through the dirt. All right. I wanted to. I also think it's very raw that I was just like, oh, booby traps, that'll be funny, and that'll put some levity into the situation. And then I started talking about how the Vietcong were.
And now you're talking about Vietcong and Nazis instead. Yeah. Levity.
Yay!
Oh, all right. Well, they avoid good old Samuel's booby trap, which happens to be jars of nails and screws tied to, or taped to a giant can of gasoline.
Why did he have time to make this?
I was pretty impressed by that. But I'm also like, that is a very aggressive. Yeah, that's a very aggressive booby trap.
He had to think about the booby trap. He had to gather all the ingredients. Unless, did he just have did he have a booby trap with him?
Did he have a kit? Is that part of his like standard operating procedure? He has a booby trap kit with him.
Not bad.
So they managed to avoid this one and continue, and the lights flicker and go out. Well, shit, because of course they do. And then a metal door closes, separating Sam from Dean, Rufus, and Bobby. So they all have to keep continuing on, but Sam's by himself. So Sam eventually finds Samuel. And Samuel's acting kind of weird. He's holding his hands kind of in front of him and tells Sam, "You're not going to shoot me. You got your soul back, and I'm family." And Sam's like, "Yeah, let's not go there with the family thing, and don't move." But Samuel's still talking and kind of like slowly advancing on Sam. It's real awkward and not cool. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you all about our time together. And I know you want to know, so I will tell you everything. But maybe we should put our guns down." And so he advances on Sam, and Sam shoots him.
Dead in between the eyes.
Whoa. Holy shit. Hearing the gunshots, Dean, Bobby, and Rufus run up, and they're just mostly they're relieved that Sam's alive at this point, and then they realize that Samuel is probably not. And they tell Sam to drop his gun. He slowly sets it down and like, "Look, no, I promise this is me." And they check his ear and they're cuffing him until they're
fine.
sure
I
that
just
he's
shot
not
my
possessed.
grandfather. Like, no, I wasn't possessed. That was all me.
But they're like, "But did the thing come out of Samuel's ear after you dropped him?" And he's like, I don't know. And they're looking and they swab his ear and there's nothing. So now Sam's real upset. He's like, "Oh shit, I might have just shot this guy, my grandfather, when he wasn't a monster."
Oops.
Oopsies. Yeah.
But also, like, if he wasn't a
so
monster, what the fuck were you doing? Like, that was just very awkward and weird, Grandpa. Like, why were you?
yeah, it was
Why did you
very
keep walking
weird.
on me like that?
Yeah. But they're like, all right, well, we got to figure out if he's got this thing in him still. So, hey, Rufus asks Bobby, hey, do you still have a cranial saw in the car? And Bobby, of course he does. Because why wouldn't you?
Of course, everyone just travels with a cranial saw.
So they're going to go fix the power to the building and get the cranial saw to cut open Grandpa's head.
Yeah, and at this point,
Sam's
I'm just like,
cuffed.
just go alone, right? Like, leaves three people together and one person go alone. I think that's safer.
Potentially, yeah.
Because even if the person is possessed, like, then they're going to keep pretending to be possessed and go do what they're, you know what I mean? Like, it makes more sense to me. Yeah.
Well, Sam's real upset. He's pacing. Dean tells Sam that he did the right thing, but at the same time, Dean still won't take Sam's cuffs off. And Sam's like, hey, look, I don't remember a whole lot of Samuel, but what I do remember was not good. But what would Mom say about all this? Aww. And Dean's like, Mom would just say, just because your blood doesn't mean your family. And you got to earn trust.
Yeah, you can't say like that. You got to be all gruff. Just because your blood doesn't make your family, you got to earn that. Yeah, it has to be gruff. You can't talk about blood and family without being that way. Sorry.
So while they're off wandering around, Bobby tells Rufus that he's sorry about Omaha. It was my fault. I should have listened, and you lost her because of me, is the only quote we get.
Yeah. He did get the power, because I did want to go, Rufus got the power.
I've got the power.
Oh.
And Rufus is like, sorry, we've had this conversation already. You can blabber all day, but I'll never forgive you for what happened. So we just might as well change the subject.
What the fuck is Omaha? Who is her? What is happening? I'm sorry, he's yelling in the mic, but it's just
I don't know. They're vague. It's vague. It's
vague booking.
Vague,
You're
and
vague
I don't
booking.
like it. Vague booking.
And it's very frustrating. And but also, like, at some point, like, I feel like Bobby should know, right? Like, I feel like this is a friend conversation, and sometimes there are things that you just don't like. We just don't talk about anymore.
But still, I don't like it.
I don't like it either, because now we know, knowing what we know, like,
we know just enough to know that we don't know something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Let's get to sawing.
So they get to sawing on Samuel's head
with this, also the cord on this saw
is like the worst.
Squirrels have just like eaten it, and I wouldn't touch. You would just die touching it, I think.
Yeah. So Samuel is getting his skull cut open, and Samuel opens his eyes and sits up and starts to fight.
Shit.
What? Oh shit! And he uses his strength to like break a table and use a leg to block the door, so Sam and Dean can't get in to help. Dean cuts off Sam's cuffs finally at this point, so they can get back in and fight with them, because Bobby and Rufus and Samuel are fighting, and it is not good. But then Bobby throws Samuel against that sketchy ass cord in an outlet, and Samuel is electrocuted.
Yeah, sketchy.
And this giant, like, segmented worm that looks kind of like a centipede, but without as many legs, scoots out of his head, out of his ear.
Ew.
Gross. Right then, Sam and Dean manage to get in the room. Both Rufus and Bobby are unconscious at first, and they both wake up. Now they know that electricity is one of the things they can use against this earworm thingy.
Yep, and they both Bobby and Rufus probably have that really gross, like, taste in your mouth you get after you're electrocuted.
Well, they realize, though, the worm bailed on Samuel, but they don't know where the worm went.
Ew.
So they've all got to do a goo check. Yeah.
My friend,
They all check. They check for the goo and don't find any in any of them. So they're worried that this may have wised up. So they're going to everybody's going to test each other by being shocked. So Sam preps a hot wire. As a fun note at this point in time, I would like to point out this is a 110 outlet that they are using. This outlet, while it will give you a nice little jolt, it is not going to be the effect that is demonstrated here. It wouldn't spark like crazy when it barely touches a chair, and it wouldn't light a person up like that. It would also throw a breaker, especially in an industrial building. So,
as a side note, please do not try this at home to determine what the results would be. That is not condoned by Devil's Trap Podcast.
No, nor supernatural. But yeah, not to speak on their behalf. I just assume they wouldn't want that either. But I just like to point that out. But either way.
Also, though, I do kind of enjoy the sticking thing that happens, that just like Sam like, I enjoy this Sam, right?
Sam's like, fuck it, I'm gonna be the keeper of the power. I'm just gonna shock y'all.
Well, he just like starts off with Samuel. He's just like, man. Like,
well, yeah, they tested on Samuel's dead body, and then Dean gets shocked. And then Sam shocks himself.
He doesn't like give Dean any warning. He just like walks up and just like
touches it to him. Yeah. No warning at all. Rufus tries to back out because he's got a pacemaker, but finally goes for it.
And he's down to 3 toes. He's down 3 toes. Not he's down 2
he's down
3
3
toes.
He's down 3 toes. Yeah. And they're just like very hopeful that his pacemaker can handle it. So he does, and
like a trooper, man.
He's a trooper, and then he takes the cord to test Bobby. But Bobby just starts insisting that it's not in him. You can go right ahead. But he's kind of shuffling away while he's saying this, and he says, "Just a sec, Rufus." And then Rufus like, "Just a sec, nothing. Whatever you are, I'm Bobby. Bobby, my ass." And then Bobby pulls a giant knife and stabs Rufus in the chest.
He stabs Rufus in the chest.
What the fuck?
Curse of the Winchester.
Oh no!
Yeah, it is like a very brutal stabbing, and you're just like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Big fucking knife, big ass Bowie knife. Not good. Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby. So now we've got Sam and Dean are circling Bobby. Bobby's got the cord unplugged, so they can't shock him, but the brothers are able to grab him, and everything goes black. Bobby wakes up sitting in a chair. Well, Monster Bobby is in a chair, duct tape to it.
I appreciated them duct taping him to the chair. Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah. But they just like didn't try and save Rufus at all, did they? They just let him die. No, they're just like, just let him bleed out.
Yeah,
good.
I think so. So Dean's ready to start shocking the shit out of him, and Dean is talking about the harpy, and
herpes. He's talking about herpes, and this is when once again Sam's like, "Stop talking about herpes."
Why are you talking about herpes?
And Dean's just like, "Shut up!" And so I think that means Dean has herpes, which I would not be surprised of. So the word
he shocks Bobby,
and I don't like this at all.
No, because they're shocked. Basically, they're like, "Hey, Bobby, you better get comfy." And Bobby's like, "I am. It's nice in here, and you love this guy. You're gonna have to take him if you want to take me."
I don't like this Bobby. It's so icky.
Monster Bobby sucks.
He's just like I don't know. Like he's unclean. He's like, I don't know. No. He's like a nerd. I don't know. Like, but like a dweeb or something. Like he's just nah. I don't.
But it's really good acting though.
No, Jim Beaver, bravo. But I don't like it.
I don't either. And Dean's like, "Yeah, we're going to do what we have to do. We've got questions." So, Monster Bobby's like, "Sure, let's talk. What are you? There's not a name for me yet. I'm new. Eve just cooked me up herself." That was not how it sounded at all. I don't know why I did that.
I don't know. But he also has like this black goo going down his mustache, and it really bothers me. And I'm like, can't you guys just wipe that off? Like, I would totally have to wipe it off.
No, you leave it on there. And he's like, "Well, who is this Eve bitch?" And Monster Bobby's like, "It's the mother of all of us and all of you. There'll be more creatures than humans, and humans will live in pens and will serve your young like veal." Ugh.
Yeah, I don't want to live in a pen, but karma. So yeah, it's just gross when he says it. But we're kind of like, oh, is this what's happening? Like, we're just going to have a whole bunch of more monsters made? Okay, that's going to be a thing we should worry about.
And then Sam's like, "But why bring in these cannery guys? Like, what the fuck?" And they're like, "Oh no, it was a trap to lead y'all here." Fuck,
dumbasses.
They fell for it again. And Eve sent a message. "You're all gonna die." She's pissed. She's here. And it's gonna be nothing but pain for you from here on in.
She's here. She's pissed. You're all gonna die.
I like your Eve cheer. Yeah. So Dean shocks Monster Bobby for a very long time. Sam stops him because he's actually worried that Bobby's going to die. Like, actual Bobby's going to die.
Yeah, they electrocute him a lot.
A lot. Monster Bobby's like, yeah, you can't kill me without killing Bobby. Sorry. And Dean's like, yeah, but that's what Bobby would want us to do. So, it is what it is. And they duct tape Monster Bobby's mouth and ears so the thing can't crawl out. And they're like, there's no way out now.
But don't you want it to crawl out? How is Bobby breathing?
Well, if he crawls out, then it's like,
but then you can kill it.
Killed. I don't know.
You step on it. You saw it. It's a worm. Squish it. Just step on it.
Ugh, that's gonna be so gross. I don't like to.
Unless it's on carpet, and then you can't kill it. Then oh my god, wouldn't that be the worst? Like you're trying to kill this monster, and it's just on carpet. And you won't
doing the cucaracha dance or something on it. Like, oh my gosh. So they are shocking Bobby is shocking the shit out of Monster Bobby. Dean is shocking the shit out of. What did I say? Dean is shocking the shit out of Monster Bobby, and so bad that Sam can't even watch, which is just it's very upsetting. Black goo coming out of his nose, his mouth, his ears, everything. And there's a scorch mark on his neck. And Bobby's unconscious, so Dean stops. Sam gently removes some of the tape from the ear, and the worm, a little tiny worm now. It's not this ginormous worm that was in Samuel. It's a little worm, just falls out of his ear and is dead on the floor.
No, Sam gently removes the duct tape.
You like that? You like my descriptions of this scene? You're welcome. So, yeah, but Bobby's not breathing. And that's not good. In our next scene, we cut to a cemetery. Sam and Dean standing by a grave. But then Bobby walks up, so it's not Bobby. Bobby's
not Bobby.
Yay!
But also, what the fuck? This is sad. Oh my god, it's Rufus.
It is very sad. And apparently Rufus was Jewish, but not very kosher because he's being buried in a Jewish cemetery. And, but I thought it was funny. Bobby points out that Rufus would pull the Sabbath card when they had to bury a body on certain days. And all I could think of was, we don't roll. Because I'm thinking of Walter from The Big Lebowski. Mm-hmm. So anyways, Bobby's look like, once upon a time, Bobby was just a job. He had his automotive shop. His wife got possessed and some guy blazed in, soaked everything in holy water. And, honestly, Bobby would have gone away for killing his wife, but Rufus taught Bobby and covered for everything. And they rode together for years. And then something about Omaha was Bobby's fault, and Rufus will never let it go. But we still don't know what the fuck it is. They don't tell us. And I don't like it.
No.
This is mad, too. Stupid. But Dean's like, well, he should have let it go. And Bobby's like, well, you don't know what I did. And Dean's like, well, at the end of the day, you're family, so he still should have let it go. Life's short, especially for hunters. When I get my guts ripped out, we're all good. Blanket apology all around. So Bobby pulls out a bottle of liquor, some Johnny Walker Blue Label, and pours some out for his homie Rufus. Sam and Dean leave, and Bobby stays and takes a swig.
At the end of... Yeah. So yeah, let's I think you've got some casting notes, and then
casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Pour one out for myself. I really love this fucking episode.
Well, just a couple of folks, because obviously this didn't have a huge cast in this episode. Our truck driver, Rick, was played by Brent State, excuse me. He was, Stait, his last name. So he's in a bunch of lot of single episodes of television shows like Stargate, Atlantis, Married with Children, TNT, which was a TV show with Mr. T, Battlestar Galactica, Fringe, Once Upon a Time. We see him. He's been in 3 episodes total of Supernatural, so we'll see him again. 21 Jump Street, The Commish, Highlander, X-Files, Stargate SG-1, Outer Limits, Smallville. Movies that you would have seen him in were like Omen 4, Call of the Wild, he was Francois. Born to Run, he was Raymond. Tron Legacy, the Purple Gaming Program. Final Destination 5.
The Purple Gaming Program.
Yeah, that's what it's called. And Final Destination 5, he was Roy. And it's a lot of Hallmark movies as well. Regular ongoing character, or regularly appearing character in Andromeda as Rev Bem. And then Jake's Carter in Snowpiercer, which is a more recent series. Our police captain was, or sheriff, whatever, police captain was Captain Dillon, played by Derek Morrison. You may have recognized him from single episodes of Outer Limits, Andromeda, Fringe, the newer Twilight Zone series, Batwoman, and Big Sky, interesting enough, which is a show that Jensen Ackles is on. And then he was one of the security guards in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Our deputy number 2 is played by Andrew McNee. We'll see him again in Supernatural in a later season. You may recognize him from single episodes of Stargate SG-1, Hellcat, Supergirl, Magicians, and Batwoman. He's also an ongoing character in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies as Coach Malone. He was Mr. Clay in Ramona and Beezus, the movie. And he was Stan Brooks in Deck the Halls, a holiday movie. He also has done a ton of voice work, including My Little Pony movies and shows, Mega Man, and Ninjago, both the movies and television shows. So,
very cool.
There we go. Yeah.
So what did you think of this episode?
I think it was really well written with some of the lines. I think that the arc of Samuel was important. But generally speaking, I agree with you. This episode was a fucking bummer and gross. I don't want an earworm. And it's sad that Gwen and Rufus and Samuel are all dead. I mean, it's not really sad that Samuel's dead, but
well, I think they did Gwen dirty. Like Rufus,
Gwen got done dirty for real. Rufus.
I mean, I'm not saying
Rufus
like
has
it was
his own
time,
problems.
like Omaha, but at least he's lived a long life, right? Like at some point, like you go, but like
he's a hunter, yeah.
Glenn is just like, you pop in, you have one line, and then we kill you. Like,
well, and then it also sucks to get killed by people you trust because they're like controlled by something evil at that moment. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guilt with that. Like, Bobby's got to live with the fact that he killed Rufus.
Yeah, but at least give him more lines. Like,
well, yeah, and Dean has to live with the fact that he killed Gwen, who he had just figured out.
He doesn't seem to be very bothered by it.
Well, I mean, I think he was kind of distracted. You don't really have time to process something like that when you're in the middle of being possessed by a monster.
What happens to Gwen? Like, so Rufus is buried here.
Oh, Gwen, they just left her body in the fucking cannery. She's still laying on that slab somewhere.
I'm pretty sure they just left Gwen there. Maybe they gave Maybe they gave Gwen a hunter's funeral, but did they give Samuel a hunter's funeral? You think?
Doubt it.
Well, probably.
Leave him there too.
Part of the reason, like you do that, is so that you can't be possessed, right?
Right.
So
or come back as a ghost.
And I'm sure they're probably like, nah, we need to. Like, I would probably dismember that corpse and throw it in some different places.
Rufus coming back. Ugh.
Samuel coming back,
or Samuel, excuse me. Yeah, Rufus, you want back. We want Rufus back. We're sad about that, but you really don't want Samuel coming back.
No,
and he's full of enough weird spite.
I mean, he already came back once, technically, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was like. Is Samuel a human? Is he? I don't know. I guess Sam's a human.
I mean,
yeah,
in the same way that Sam is, right? Yeah. Super fucking weird though.
I don't like this episode. It's stupid.
I know.
But
had some good lines though.
I did. Boobies. All right, I think that's it.
All right, that's all we got.
All right, cheers, Dirk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.